the Bible verse that carried me through a season of waiting. There's a kind of waiting that feels different from simply being patient. It's heavier. It's lonelier. It's the kind of waiting that doesn't just stretch your time. It stretches your soul. It's the waiting that stretches longer than you thought it would. Longer than you prayed for. Longer than you thought you could bear. The kind that wears down your hope. Not with sharp pain, but with slow erosion. Day after day. Like waves carving away a shoreline. So gently you hardly notice, until you realize how much has been taken. It's not the waiting in lines at grocery stores. Not the waiting for a package to arrive. Not the ordinary inconveniences of life. It's the waiting that reaches deeper. The waiting for prayers to be answered. For dreams you dared to believe in to finally come true. For healing that seems to take longer than your strength. For broken things, broken hearts, broken promises, broken pieces of you, to somehow be made whole again. It's the kind of waiting where you don't even know anymore if you're walking toward a miracle or just wandering endlessly through emptiness. It's the waiting that makes you question not just the future, but yourself. And somewhere in that endless stretch of waiting, doubt begins to whisper. Maybe it's never going to happen. Maybe you misheard God. Maybe you were foolish to hope at all. I know that waiting. I have lived inside it. I have sat in rooms heavy with it. I have cried prayers into pillows. Words so desperate they barely made sound. I have almost let go. Almost believed that the silence meant abandonment. But somewhere in the middle of that long, aching stillness, I found something unexpected. Not a quick answer. Not a sudden miracle. Not the solution I had begged for. But a whisper. A verse. Not promising me that the wait would end soon, but promising me something better. Something I didn't even know I needed. A promise that even here, even in the waiting, I was not alone. And then, in the silence that stretched longer than I thought I could endure, these words found me. Isaiah 40 verse 31. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. I read it once, twice, 3 times, letting the words sink past my tired mind, into the places my soul had tried to seal shut. But they who wait, not those who hurry, not those who figure everything out, not those who force answers into existence, but those who wait, those who stay, those who stand still when everything in them wants to run, those who hold onto invisible hope when everything visible screams otherwise. The promise isn't that waiting will be easy. It's not even that waiting will be short. God never says, wait a little while, and then I'll bless you immediately. He says, wait, and while you wait, I will renew you. The miracle isn't just what happens after the waiting. The miracle is what happens in the waiting. It's not just about the destination. It's about the transformation along the way. Because even before the breakthrough comes, something inside us is being made new. Strength is being woven into our bones. Endurance is being carved into our hearts. We are learning to soar, not because life is perfect, but because grace lifts us higher than circumstances ever could. We are learning to run, not because the road is smooth, but because hope whispers, just one more step. We are learning to walk, even when our legs tremble, even when our hearts doubt, because His strength carries us when ours runs dry. This is the beauty hidden in the waiting, not just the reward after it ends, but the quiet, unseen work of being remade, while we still wait. You see, waiting isn't punishment. It's not a sign that you've been forgotten. It's not because you're less loved, or because your faith isn't strong enough. Waiting isn't God withholding His goodness from you. Waiting is God preparing His goodness for you, and preparing you to hold it. Sometimes, waiting is the very place where God does His deepest, most beautiful work, not in the spotlight, not in the grand finale, but in the quiet, unseen moments, where no one else is watching. It's in the waiting that trust sinks its roots deeper, deeper than excitement, deeper than momentary happiness, roots that will hold steady when the storms come. It's in the waiting that pride, the voice that says, "I can do this by myself," begins to fall away, and we realize we were never meant to carry our dreams alone. It's in the waiting that our faith shifts its gaze away from the outcome we want and back to the one we're actually waiting for. Maybe you're not waiting for something after all. Maybe you're waiting with someone, because God doesn't just meet us at the finish line with arms wide open. He walks with us, step by slow, trembling step. He paces beside us through every long night, every unanswered prayer, every ache that words cannot express, every silent day where you wonder, does He even see me? He does. Every unanswered prayer that makes you question, is He still listening? He is. Every night when you stare into the darkness and ask, God, are you still there? He whispers back, I never left. He sees it all. He holds it all. He is weaving it all into a story more beautiful than anything you could have written alone. Maybe the waiting isn't wasted time. Maybe the waiting is sacred time. Time where invisible miracles grow, like seeds buried deep underground, before anyone can see the bloom. Maybe what's growing inside you right now, hope that refuses to die, endurance forged in fire, trust that has learned to cling to Him and not the outcome, is a greater miracle than the thing you're waiting for. Maybe the real answer was never the thing you asked for. Maybe it's the stronger, softer, wiser you, being quietly, patiently, lovingly shaped in the waiting. If you are in a season of waiting right now, if your prayers seem to hang unanswered in the quiet, if your heart feels stretched thin, your strength frayed at the edges, take heart. Take a slow, deep breath. You are not forgotten. Not for a moment. Not for a breath. You are not overlooked. Not by the one who sees every tear, every longing, every silent battle you fight in the stillness of your heart. The God who stretched out the heavens, who painted every galaxy into existence, and called each star by name. He knows your name too. He speaks it with tenderness. He carries it close to His heart. He knows you're waiting. He knows every ache you've tried to silence. He knows every dream you've dared to hope for, even when hope feels heavy. And He's not wasting a single moment of it. Not a single tear. Not a single restless night. Not a single prayer whispered through gritted teeth and trembling faith. Your strength is being renewed, even when you feel weak. Your hope is being rebuilt, even when the cracks still show. Your story is still being written, even when the pages seem blank, even when you can't yet see the next chapter. Hold on, even when it feels foolish, even when your hands are tired, even when your heart asks if it's worth it. Hold on, keep walking. Even if all you can manage is one slow, shaky step at a time. Keep trusting, even if your trust feels no bigger than a mustard seed. Because the one who promised to renew your strength the one who etched every promise into eternity, has never broken his word. Not once. And he won't start with you. You are safe in his timing. You are held in his love. You are carried by his faithfulness. Thank you for sharing this quiet moment with me today. Thank you for letting your soul breathe, even in the hard places. If this message touched your soul, if it whispered even a sliver of hope into your waiting heart, please consider subscribing to Hush Journal, so that here, in this quiet corner of the world, you'll always have a reminder. Here, even in the waiting, even in the questioning, even in the trembling, you are deeply, fiercely, endlessly loved.